Good morning, I'm David Birnbaum. We're here Sunday morning, August 21st, 2016, Rockefeller Center, 589 Fifth Avenue, with a team of independent panelists. We're going to review and hear their thoughts, their questions, their challenges to the basics of Summa Metaphysica theory, also known as Potentialism theory. I'm the author of the treatise, which came out in 3 parts, 1988, 2005, and 2014. The first volume is called Summa 1, Religious Man. The second volume is Summa 2, Spiritual Man. And the third volume is A Scientific Man, basically. So our panelists are Sam, Kara, Christopher, and Lisa. Can you give us your full names?
I'm Sam Saperstein.
Okay.
I'm Kara Hayden.
Kara.
Hayden.
Hayden.
Christopher O'Connell.
Lisa Ritchie.
Great. So this is going to be free form. I'm going to start off by challenging you, not individually, but as a group, with some questions. And then you can deal with my question, or you can just come at me with your question. So I would say to you, I pose a cluster of questions to you, each of you. Where do you come from? Where does the earth come from? Why are we here? What is life? What is your purpose? What makes you tick? Where are you headed? Where's the cosmic order headed? And what if I said to you, I can give you a simple, simultaneous solution to that entire cluster of questions with one simple phrase? You might say to me, go for it, right? You might say to me, okay, that's the proposition, it's a hypothesis of Summa Metaphysica theory. I propose, and I'm on this case since I'm very young. It took me about 20 years to finally vector to it. That one concept / dynamic, which I label quest for potential, or Q4P for short. Some people call it divine quest for potential. Some people call it infinite quest for potential. To keep matters simple, I call it quest for potential. Drives the entire universe. It's the source of the universe. It's the life force of the universe, and of you individually and myself individually. It makes us tick. It drives us forward. Our purpose is to drive for our potential, and the cosmic order's purpose is to drive for its potential. So you might say, well, where is this force? Where is this dynamic? Well, I might retort to you, the entire universe is one metaphysical entity, and quest for potential is its lifeblood, its life source. This is radical, it's dynamic, but as I say to my kids, it might just be right. Okay. So now the floor is yours, and we can start any which way. I guess we can start left to right, and you can pose one or more questions to me, and we can sort of get this rolling. And it's free form. It's ultimate reality. You can choose to peg off any question, my thoughts, your thoughts, whatever makes you good, because this whole theory is intertwined with everything. There's no starting point and finish point. Everything's connected to it, according to the author. Okay, here you go.
I read some of, I actually watched your video, and I saw you talk about the problem of evil and how it sort of started you on this journey.
Right.
And that relates to another spiritual question, an age-old spiritual question that I carry within me that I'm really curious about, and it's a simple but profound one. How does one become and stay a good person? How does one maintain that? Not just learn how to do it, but keep remembering throughout one's life.
Okay, so frankly, that's sort of in the realm of ethics, which touches on my theory. But I don't claim to be an expert on good, but I'll give it my best shot. Okay, as it relates to this theory. From my schema, our mandate is to quest for our potential without infringing too much on anybody else's potential. And that might directly relate to your question. We don't want to infringe on other people's potential, any which way. Of course, in the realm of things, it's not possible not to infringe at all. When we're crossing the street, we might force someone to yield to us, even if we're a pedestrian. So there's no objective standard. So when you see it, I think if the entire corpus of humanity took that dictum, we'd be much better off. And frankly, pegging off of that further, let's say hypothetically, this hypothesis gained some more traction over the years. And it was sort of inculcated by humanity over the planet. Well, if we're all part of one potential drive, then, and if we all want to advance our own potential without infringing too much on others, the natural conclusion would be there'll be less strife. It would ratchet it down.
Why would there be less strife?
Because if we're all part of one journey, if we're all part of the universe journey, for the universe as a whole to reach its potential, and we're part of it, and then we all have a stake in everyone else advancing their own potential. So it's no longer me versus you. I advance sometimes at your expense. I don't want to advance at your expense. I want us all to advance. If we all advance, then the whole universe can reach its potential more elegantly. Let me try to say it another way, okay? Say right now, it's the West versus the East, or radical this versus non-radical that. And each has their own sort of agenda. And just like if the global population embraced humanism more, which is related to this, if it embraced a more humanistic approach, if your advancement of your potential, Lisa, directly impacts the advancement of my potential, then I want you to win. I don't want you to lose. You understand? If the Muslim world's potential advance impacts my potential advance here, then we want more to win. It's no longer keeping negativity from hitting us. We want everyone to advance. Your advance is my advance. That's the entry level sort of answer to your question. We can loop back. With your permission, let's go on to the next questioner. Is that okay? Okay, we can loop back. Ms. Kara.
Well, I'm still stuck on that
Right.
previous point, because if you're saying that someone's potential to advance and you want them to advance, but their potential is in direct competition with your potential, then how are you going to resolve that? Because you're going to be in natural competition with each other, and you're going to want to strive for your greatest potential. But if someone else is in direct competition with your greatest potential, then how does that bring about like a more humanistic, how would that be resolved through humanism,
Okay, well, you have the same question with humanism. What if there's conflicting objectives? You're both in the same corporation.
Yeah.
You both want the same job. But as a general, broad brushstroke, if we're all connected, see, according to this theory, we're all connected, much more than we think. Not only are we all connected, the blade of grass in Pennsylvania is connected to the stardust 20 light years away. It's all one, according to the theory, it's all one matrix. I'm not the first person who says that, by the way. Spinoza also said that, and other illustrious people said it. Everything's connected. But I'm reinventing it in a different way. That we're all connected because we're all part of a grand quest for potential. The blade of grass is also, according to the theory, is also striving for its potential. The random blood cell in your system is striving for its potential. And the whatever semblance of life form or quasi-life form exists 20 light years away is also questing for its potential. That we're all in this together. And that the advance of the blade of grass in Pennsylvania is also, on some level, believe it or not, my advance, let alone the advance of a random Frenchman. Okay, so we all have a stake. When that blade of grass advances, on some level, I advance. When you advance, I advance. Yes, it could be that sometimes we might find ourselves in direct confrontation. We both want the same job, or two guys both might want the same woman, etc. But that's not all that typical. that we just have on the billions of people on the planet that happen to both be going after two guys going after the same girl on the planet, or two people going after the same job. Generally, everybody has their own greater orbit. So in principle, if you advance, I advance. If you build a great family, it's my advance also, even though I never met you. That's maybe a general brushstroke, because we're all in it together. The entire universe and everything in it is all striving ensemble together, according to the theory. That's what makes it tick. What is the lifeblood of the universe? How does it recharge itself? Made to the extent that the potential advances, it recharges itself. It's self-generated. That's the theory. That's the hypothesis. You have a follow-up. You have a follow-up.
A separate thing. Do you have like a specific, how would you define someone's potential, and what does like a maximum potential look like to you?
Okay, so I think you're gonna like this. It's called I like to lead the witness. Well, my kids accuse me I'm always leading the witness. Well, I say it's very subjective. It depends on who you are. So what your assets are, what your dreams are, how much support you're getting. Everyone's potential, for the short term at least, is individualized. So you have to say to yourself, given who I am, given my assets, given my opportunities, how can I advance? And you have to ask sort of three questions: short term, medium, and long term. Meaning, will moving to Manhattan advance my potential, possibly advance my potential, short term, medium term, and long term? Will a particular boyfriend potentially advance my potential, short term, medium term, and long term? Or will a particular friend? And this gets you away from short term happiness, short term gain which might be ephemeral. It forces you to ask yourself, will they advance all my objectives? Now, then you might say, well, what are my objectives? Well, only you sort of know your objectives, So, and I suspect that we each have in us like an internal, it's a potential guidance mechanism, which helps us. But you have to sort of talk to it and say, we're doing this project, we're going to this session today, this 11-day session, will that advance my overall potential? As opposed to my other alternative. When you choose between alternatives, you can ask yourself, which really advances my overall potential? Sort of short term, sort of medium term, and sort of long term. And this is in the realm question of self-actualization. And I'm a fan of Tony Robbins. He's a big self-actualization guru. But he doesn't exactly say this, but he sort of touches on it. He says, why does a person who just made $10 million sometimes feel depressed? Because he's achieved his momentary potential, but he's not engaged yet questing for his next potential. So a follow-up answer by me would be, if you're always rethinking and rebooting your quest for your own potential, you'll always have fulfillment. If you don't do that, you'll feel depressed or sad. Often, I have two daughters, and they both have children, young children, and one can suspect a slight downer after they give birth. They're slightly down emotionally until they reboot. At that particular moment in time, they've brought forth the child. At that moment in time, their life-giving potential is at a temporary pause. It's at least seemingly, till they reboot. They say, no, everything's good. It's true I gave birth, but the baby's advancing forward, etc. So that's sort of in the realm of things. You want to keep advancing your potential. While you're advancing your potential, you will tend to feel fulfilled. So whether it's even the beggar on the street or the nuclear scientists, while they're advancing their potential, their respective potentials, they will tend to feel fulfilled. Once they stop, or once they're on a wrong track, they'll feel terrible. If you're a very talented person and you keep getting thrown curveballs, you will tend to feel bad. Not just because you can't get the apartment you want, because internally you're saying, so I'm not reaching my full potential. So our goal is to the best of our ability, in consultation with friends, advisors, to try to get on track, whatever our asks are at that moment in time, to try to maximize that potential. And I would maintain that if you keep ask yourself that question, you will tend to advance maximally. Don't ask yourself only, how can I have the best wardrobe? Even how can I have the best spiritual life? Ask yourself a broader question. How can I maximally advance my potential? Juggling all these aspects. My best wardrobe, my best boyfriend, my best spiritual life. You have to wrap it all together and say this combination will tend to advance my personal potential.